And I think we've done something in society, and maybe it's because we want to valorize it, or maybe it's because we want to make people feel like they're not victims, or we want to make it seem like there was some purpose or meaning. Maybe it's tied to religion. I think we, at times, have sort of valorized this idea. It happened to you for a reason, you know? And so now you get this kid who was abused by their parents or someone in their family, and you're like, it happened to you for a reason. It made you the person you are today.
Would they press it? Now, if I put a button in front of you and it would erase what had happened to your mother being shot at that age, would you press it?
Yes, I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would. And this is a fundamental philosophical argument that I have with people. This is purely like philosophy, and it's the way I see the world, and I think the way some people see the world. I understand that many of the times, or I understand that like oftentimes people come out of a bad experience with a new learning or something that has improved them in many ways. But I think we should never take for granted how many times that doesn't happen. You know, I think we should never take for granted how many people are broken by a bad thing. And I think we've done something in society, and maybe it's because we want to valorize it, or maybe it's because we want to make people feel like they're not victims, or we want to make it seem like there was some purpose or meaning. Maybe it's tied to religion. I think we, at times, have sort of valorized this idea. It happened to you for a reason, you know? And so now you get this kid who was abused by their parents or someone in their family, and you're like, it happened to you for a reason. It made you the person you are today.
Welcome back to Evolving Manhood. This is a space where we examine what it means to grow as men, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Today, I want to challenge a phrase that many of us have heard, and maybe even repeated. It happened to you for a reason. Or even more specifically, that tragedy made you the man you are today. Now on the surface, that may sound like wisdom. It may even sound like encouragement. But the truth is, that idea can be deeply harmful because it teaches men to romanticize their pain. It suggests that suffering is somehow a requirement for maturity. And too often, it makes trauma seem like a badge of honor. But surviving something terrible should never be the standard by which we measure manhood or growth.
You know, or somebody who suffered a horrible trauma, or a car accident, a terrorist attack, whatever it is. Hey, it happened to you for a reason. You're gonna, look at you. You will be stronger. Or look at you today. You wouldn't be this person. You know what people forget to talk about is the fact that, yeah, you could have been a different version of you. You could have been happier. You could have been less wounded. You could have carried less burden. You could have been less hurtful because of that. And I think we should never take that for granted. I think we should encourage people to find the best. And we should always say to ourselves, hey, what can I get from this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I grow from it?
As men, many of us were raised to believe that hardship builds character. And while adversity can reveal strength, we must be careful not to confuse survival with purpose. Not every painful experience was sent to teach you something. Some things that happened to you were simply unfair. Some wounds came from neglect, some from violence, some from betrayal, some from systems that failed you, some from people who should have protected you. Calling those experiences meant to happen can minimize the damage they caused. Worse, it can make a man feel like he is supposed to be grateful for what broke him. And that is a dangerous mindset. The pain did not make you stronger. The work you did afterward did. The decision to keep living, the courage to confront what hurt, the willingness to unlearn harmful patterns, the humility to seek healing. That is where growth lives, not in the trauma itself.
But I am not a fan of anybody saying that they will keep it because it's made them who they are. Just because you've survived a storm doesn't mean that you should want to keep that storm. You know? And so... and that's why I say it's a philosophical argument. It really is. But I don't like how we've done that to people, because in some way, I feel like it makes people think that they now have to be grateful for a terrible thing that has happened to them, or a terrible thing that they've experienced, or people around them have experienced, because they've come out more resilient on the other side of it.
In the Evolving Manhood series, we talk often about redefining strength. Strength is not how much pain you can carry in silence. Strength is not how deeply you can bury your wounds. Strength is not proving that what happened to you no longer affects you. Real strength is honesty. It is saying, that hurt me. It is admitting, I'm still healing. It is understanding that manhood is not measured by endurance of suffering, but by the courage to face yourself. Too many men have been taught to build identity around what they survived, but you are more than the worst thing that happened to you. Your value is not in your scars. Your value is in your humanity.
Everything happens to you for a reason.
Yeah, and so if I could replace it, I go, no, I forget that. I don't go like everything happens to you or doesn't. I go back to what I said, phrase my friend taught me, who do you choose to be? I would say, forget the eraser test. I would say to you, there can never be an eraser test. Why don't we replace it with a pencil test, a pen test, a marker test, whatever device you want to use. And you go, if you could press this button and decide what story you write on the other side of the thing that happened to you, would you now write that story? And what story would you write? I think that's more important, because the eraser thing makes people now feel like they have to disown a part of themselves, which most people will not want to do. But then it makes you feel like you have to claim this thing as being part of yourself. No, I would press that button. I would erase my mother being shot. I would erase me having ADHD. I would erase the tough times that my country went through. I'd erase apartheid. I wouldn't be like, I would keep apartheid, Stephen, because if it wasn't for apartheid, I wouldn't be here with you today. No. I would erase it, and maybe we'd be dealing with something else. But if I could, I would press that button, because I don't think we need to celebrate it. I think we need to work on it, and we need to strive to heal ourselves. But I don't think your tribulations are what make you. You survived, and I'm proud of you for surviving. But that doesn't mean that you needed to go through what you had to go through.
Yes, men can grow after trauma. Yes, pain can change perspective. But growth after pain does not mean pain was necessary. That distinction matters. You can honor your resilience without giving credit to the thing that harmed you. The storm is not the hero. You are. Growth comes from what you choose next. The boundaries you set. The habits you change. The cycle you decide ends with you. That is evolution. That is manhood. So today, I want to leave you with this. Your trauma is not your testimony unless you choose to tell it. Your pain is not proof of destiny. And suffering is not a requirement for becoming a better man. You did not need to be broken to become whole. The growth belongs to your effort. The healing belongs to your courage. The evolution belongs to you. This has been Evolving Manhood. Keep growing. Keep healing. Keep becoming. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.